Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Marcia Parker.
Here to finally review last season's American Horror Story Cult.
Yes.
We're going to talk about the full series. We will be spoiling some stuff, so if you haven't watched it, don't watch this yet. But it's available on Netflix now. That's how I finally caught up. I'll jump into my overall thoughts first and say that I stopped watching after the 5th episode when it was airing live because I couldn't stand Sarah Paulson, and literally the next episode she changed like dramatically, like 180, complete difference. And so like I'm like, oh, of course, literally she's half the series she was the worst character ever, and then half the series like cunning manipulator, and I'm like, what? Where did that come from? Like. But here's the other thing. First half of the series, Kai was amazing. Second half of the series, Kai was he was like trying so hard to be the cool Kai from the first half of the series, but doing stupid stuff, surrounding himself with males that were just sycophants and becoming a cult leader, Jim Jones cult leader. And I thought that the whole way he was going about it politically was way more interesting than when he became so full tilt culty. So I mean, that season as a whole was a bummer to me. I am not an American Horror Story cult fan at all. I think they dropped the ball numerous times. The only time it was good was when Twisty was on, and that was what, episode 1 and 2.
The flash in the pan.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like real. It was hallucinations, but. I overall did not like Cult at all. How about you, Marcia?
So I feel like American Horror Story is still probably one of, given Cult, I mean, it's still one of my favorite anthology horror shows out there. In Cult, you know, and I don't always agree with the direction that they go, you know, and this definitely is one of them. It was really heavy political at times, and there were a lot of aspects and characters that I just couldn't get behind, and I had to like pretty much force feed myself episode after episode after episode. That being said, there are some interesting aspects of it because of what they were trying to accomplish, about the whole like cult aspect of not only of current events but also of the past events, and how it linked to like the Zodiac Killer, Manson, and then you have, was Black Panthers in there somewhere? I can't remember. And then they had all these different little aspects on how it affects, you know, history.
Well, and the chick that killed Andy Warhol, who ended up tying into the Zodiac Killer.
Yeah, that was weird.
They stretched a lot of things.
Weird choices. But again, like,
played by Lena Dunham, by the way.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
You know, again, though, like, it wasn't the best, but I can appreciate what they were trying to do. There were some scenes that I liked, mainly when they were actually like tormenting people and like killing them, and I was like, okay, that's cool.
I thought the Allie and Ivy confrontation was good. I liked that a lot.
Yeah, that was good. And I thought Evan Peters did a really good job, but, you know, definitely not... I mean, it's definitely on the bottom of my list for the ranking of American Horror Story, even below Coven, and that says a lot, because I really don't like Coven. But I don't know, maybe they're tied. Because, like, I don't feel like Coven accomplished anything, whereas Cult... I feel like a lot of people hated it too because it was so close to the Trump issues and the extremist attitude that we're suffering from right now, and I think it's just hitting too close to home. It's too soon, as they say. But I do find it interesting that they were trying to kind of enlighten people in that way of what, you know, being an extremist does and how people can take advantage of that kind of attitude, or like take advantage of people who feel like they've been done wrong and they're not being heard, And so someone comes along saying, "Oh, I do hear you," but then they're taking them down a path that doesn't necessarily a righteous one.
Mm-hmm.
So I did like that aspect of it. I mean, it was so hard to digest, though. It
Mm-hmm.
was really hard to get through. I got through it all when it came out, so I'm maybe a little rusty on some of the aspects, but yeah, it was a little rough.
Now the acting, again, I touched on Sarah Paulson's acting. She was making choices, and I wasn't a fan of them. I don't like as much of this cast as I liked in past seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought we were really missing a couple of key cast members.
Mm-hmm.
Not just Jessica Lange, but the dude that was in all of them that played like the bald chick in Hotel and the scarred guy in Murder House. Like, I missed him a lot in that season. He might have even been there briefly, but
Not something.
in Roanoke he was barely in Roanoke too. Like, I feel like they've gotten away from him for some reason. But
Maybe he just wasn't interested in the role.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean,
it was a lot politically charged.
It was.
So I think we didn't get a lot of people that way.
I did think Evan Peters was one of the more fun ones to watch, although he did become a parody of his own self, I think, in the second half. I liked a couple of the followers, but I thought the reporter lady that's been in the past couple seasons, I didn't like her in this very much.
Well, she started in Roanoke, is where she started.
No, I think she was in one before that too. What was the one before Roanoke? Hotel? Oh no, she wasn't in Hotel. You're right. She started in Roanoke.
Yeah, she was the.
And then I didn't like really Billy Eichner very much. And his wife was just as annoying. His lover was just as annoying. Like, I wasn't a fan of a lot of the characters in this. And when you don't like the majority of the characters of a show, you're not going to like the show, which is why I watched this while playing Spider-Man. Like, I didn't care enough to pay full attention to it.
Even the Halloween episode was disappointing.
What was the Halloween episode?
I don't remember. I just remember watching it going, "Oh, this is a Halloween episode."
Was it the one where they were going through all the serial killers?
I think it might have been the Andy Warhol and Zodiac killer.
So stupid. Making him the Zodiacs and then, like, just completely discounting it, and I just really didn't like this. Billy Laird, right? Isn't that Carrie Fisher's daughter?
Yeah.
She was okay. I like her. But man, it was just a rough season. The story choices all over the place were annoying. I thought the lady that played Ivy, Allie's wife, was good too. I'm not sure what her name is. Although the character motivations and their actions just didn't make sense. Like, they would flip-flop and go to the cult, and then all of a sudden be so upset that they were in the cult, and it's like, why? What? Which is
not what would happen if you're in a cult.
No,
you would be there,
and you wouldn't get swayed like immediately, or if you did, like, you wouldn't wait. Like, I don't know. It was convenience writing all over the place, and I feel like
they were just trying to do too much. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, it was rough. It was really rough. I mean, and the only acting I liked was Evan Peters. Everybody else kind of annoyed me, and I was even more annoyed that the neighbor, the blonde chick, she's in Apocalypse, and I hate her there too.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
I just don't. I think it's her voice or something in her face. I don't know.
Her voice in her face.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I know sometimes when it comes to female actresses, I'm puddle deep, but I mean, you gotta. She's whiny and annoying, and I can't deal with whiny bitches. Sorry.
Yeah. So we did also, to spoil it, Allie not only gets over her fears, but becomes like this criminal mastermind that then weasels her way into the political system the way Kai was trying to.
Right.
But she does it smartly. And now she's still out there in the American Horror Story world, but she puts on some sort of robe and hood at the very end before it cuts to black. So, like, she's the leader of some underground society.
Probably the female cult, right?
The Scum? Like, it can't be Scum, because that's what it was called, and that was the worst name ever. It was so bad.
But that's what I got out of it, is like she started leading, the women's society, like cult.
Maybe, but they didn't even really say that specifically, just that she has everyone kind of under her thumb. But so it's technically another Sarah Paulson out there in the American Horror Story world. There's already and it's funny, they even name-checked one of them to her.
Yeah.
They were like, you turned down the Lana Winters interview, but
Right.
you took this one? And it's like, you're talking to her about her, like, oh, okay, all right. We're getting super meta
so
with
deep.
all the Paulson characters.
She's so deep.
But anyway, I don't know. It just was disappointing. Now let's talk about the effects and the gore. There's actually quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of headshots, and in fact, two guns in person's own mouth and blowing out the back of their head.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, geez, there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
But there was not much horror other than that. I mean, there's one dude that the cult takes turns shooting nails from a nail gun into their head. But that was it. There really wasn't a whole lot outside of that. Someone feeds someone arsenic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a cool kill, but it's not, there's not really effects to be had in this outside of some CG gore and some not CG gore.
Yeah, you think like they were going down a road where they were doing, they were going to be doing a lot more kills and scaring people into following Kai, but it kind of tapered off pretty quickly, and you don't even with the the coffins, you didn't really get a lot with the coffins either. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It was just not the American Horror Story that we're accustomed to, and it was instead of being more supernatural, it was more realistic, and I think that's what they were trying to go for. Like, sometimes monsters are the scariest monsters are the real ones. So I don't know.
And there's another trend they need to stop.
At least there was no singing.
Thank God. There is another trend they need to stop, though. I get that it's an anthology series and you can have the actors come back and play different characters season after season, but stop having your same actors play different characters, not only in the same season, but in the same fucking episode.
Oh, yeah.
I don't need to see Evan Peters playing Kai talking to Evan Peters playing Charles Manson, talking about Evan Peters playing the other cult leader, the one I mentioned earlier that I can't even... Jim Jones.
Oh, Jim Jones, yeah.
Why? Like, I get that they're trying to say that he's trying to be the next in a line, and so it makes sense to have him do it, but outside of Jim Jones, because they put him in a bit of a fat suit, like, when they have him as Charles Manson, like, Kai shaves his head, and then Charles Manson shows up with a shaved head. I'm like, no, at least keep him in the wig so you can tell the difference. Like, I don't like that. It takes me out of it too much when I'm like, wait, that's the same one. And then I think they had, what's her name? Sarah Paulson play one of the people that were killing the Tates, right? Because they did the Sharon Tate murder as well in there.
Yeah, she was in there a couple times.
The Roman Polanski thing, and so I'm getting confused. I'm like, who is playing who, and why are they playing?
Actually, yeah, they were. Everybody was playing in the real time cult. Were also playing in the historical one.
Yeah, when Kai tells the stories of them.
Yeah.
And it's just, I get it. You're going for a thing, but it's overly muddling
used,
things,
And they do bring back some of it in Apocalypse.
Oh, God damn it.
So, and I just watched a teaser, because I'm not very far in Apocalypse. I think I've only gotten like 3 episodes. It's just not as interesting as some of the other stuff is out there, like The Haunting of Hill House. We just did the review for that.
People are pushing the envelope.
I'd rather just watch that.
Mm-hmm.
Get back to the basics. Like you're trying to do too much. Mm-hmm. I think like Murder House was so simplistic in a way where it was very focused and idealized, and you did touch all these different types of horror stories that happen in a house. And the same thing with Asylum. You did really good with that. I mean, a Freak Show was a roller coaster. Hotel was getting back to the basics. Roanoke was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
This Cult is just out of the box. And I don't, I keep skipping over Coven because I hate that. I hate Coven so bad. I don't know, because Jaime loves it, so that says everything. I mean, come on. But I don't know. And we'll get to Apocalypse when it finishes out, and I'm trying to give it, the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes that it feels like it could be good, and then sometimes I'm just like, I just don't like these characters.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it has the Coven in it, so of course I'm even more fuck.
Well, I don't know, guys. There's not a whole lot more to say about Cult.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it, to be honest.
I don't either. I don't want to waste any more time on it. So there
sorry,
you go, guys.
if you guys like it,
if that makes us bad reviewers, fine. We never claim to be reviewers. We're just people talking about stuff. So
I mean, if there's something about it that makes you think that it should go to the top of anybody's list, please put it in the comments and make a point, because I just don't see it. I don't see
either.
It. There's just so much better things out there.
I don't either. I wasted 10 hours on it. Let's not waste any more time.
All right, we're done.
Thanks very much for watching, guys. I've been Cecil Laird.
I'm Marcia Parker.
And remember,
stay scared.